Okay, we left off last week in the middle of Shin Chav Ches Sif Yud Zayin by the Ramah. So we went through all the shittas last week about a Chodesh Ein Bei Sakana, what he's allowed to do, what he's allowed to do for him. And we said there was a few different levels. A quick Chazara, because we're going to need it for today's share also. There's a few different levels. There was a Mechesh Ba'alma, where everything is Asr, even things that are just Asr for, they Asr more things by Chayli. Shem Bei Sakot Mechesh Ba'alma, they Asr as Shrikas HaMamonim. Then you had Miktas Chayli, and you had a Mitzvah Harbe, which is so in Shin Zayin, a Shvus is Mutter. By Miktas Chayli Shvus is Mutter, and by Mitzvah Harbe it may even be Mutter Shvus al Yedei Shinui. And then you have Chayli She'em Sakana, the highest level, which is Chalach al Gufay Nafal Mishkav. Where such a Chayla, the halacha is that we pass in a bunch of different shittas here in the Mechaber. We pass in like the Svar Ashlishis the Mechaber says, which is they're allowed to do a Shvus, a Yisrael. A guy is allowed to do even Esa Deraisa. A Yisrael is allowed to do a Shvus al Yedei Shinui. That's what Yisrael is allowed to do.
So that there's no difference from Mitzvah Harbe.
Right. Right. The question was only by Mitzvah Harbe there's a heter of Shchichas HaMamonim.
But the other shittas for this category don't apply by Mitzvah Harbe.
Correct. So we left off last week with the Shaila, so I'll get back to you about it. With if a child's elbow came out of the socket, you're allowed to put it back in, and we couldn't find the heter. What should be the heter to put it back in, even if a child's a Chodesh Ein Bei Sakana, but Issa D'Rabbanan, without a Shinui, we're not matter. But only matter al Yedei Shinui. We did see Chai Adam, which proving later on, Shasat Chak, if you need it, you could do an Issa D'Rabbanan maybe. But the question is over here, what's the Issa where you're putting an elbow back into place? So, if it's an Issa D'Rabbanan, we're not matter it unless it's a Makom Tzerech. As I spoke last week, we said, not such a Tzerech, the kid could wait till Motzei Shabbos, and nothing's going to happen if you put the elbow, if you don't put the elbow back into place. So I sat there with the Shlomo Miller one day Chol Hamoed, and I pushed him, and and he didn't want to answer me, but I got a few things from him. I'll tell you what I got. First of all, because I asked him what's the heter.
What's the heter?
Yeah, I asked him what the heter is.
What's the halacha?
Yeah, it's a mutter.
You started with what's the heter?
I said, are you allowed to put in the elbow for a child who's done it?
No, but did you say we see that if people do it, and therefore there's a heter?
Right. I said, I'm giving it to the doctors, and they'll do it.
Yeah.
I have to know if it's tell them to stop.
Okay.
So he told me, I don't know, he was very not clear about it. He says, really it should be Asr. But he said to me was, you have to know what the Issa is B'chlal. What's the Issa putting the elbow back in? Is there an Issa at all? So if it's an Issa D'Rabbanan, we're not matter an Issa D'Rabbanan. We go do an Issa D'Rabbanan on Shabbos, we're matter Issa D'Rabbanan Yedei Shinui. So let's say you have the Chai Adam B'Shasat Chak, you could do it. The question is, this is called B'Shasat Chak. They can be Semicha and Issa D'Rabbanan.
Let's say Issa D'Rabbanan, but even if it's not an Issa D'Rabbanan, let's say you have...
So if it's a Shchichas HaMamonim, if it's a Refuah, that's mutter. No, sorry. You're right, it's not even Mitzvah Harbe here, it's nothing.
Right.
Yeah, so it should be also, even if it's out Refuah. So for that he said, which is a side, which we hadn't mentioned, and we'll get to it further also, that there is a halacha, we'll see later on, that sometimes something, even though it's a refuah, we spoke about ice, putting ice on a bump. I asked him that also. Someone gets a bump on Shabbos, everyone puts ice on it. Don't think twice to put ice on it.
And we came out that it would be problematic.
It should be problematic. Yeah, what's anything that's a refuah is awesome. Yeah. And here is not Mitzvah Harbe, he has a bump. After Shabbos, he'll feel better, go away. It's not enough for the Mishka, it's Mitzvah Harbe, what's the heter? If someone gets a bump, a clap, they want to put ice in it to put down the swelling, what's the heter?
I told you, Rav Moshe has a troop and he allows it.
Yeah.
You said to me, what was the
yeah. So I asked him. So he said that the heter over there would be is that, and we'll see later on more, is that something that you never do with Shchikas HaMamonim, this thing you never use Samamonim to make it feel better, then there's a certain poskim that are mako that you could do it on Shabbos.
So because you never use ice, you do Shchikas HaMamonim.
Whenever someone gets a bump, there's no way of healing the bump through Shchikas HaMamonim. It's always through ice.
What is
Shchikas HaMamonim is grinding. Grinding spices.
It would never come to Shchikas HaMamonim?
Right, because there's no way of doing this refuah through Shchikas HaMamonim.
But then everything would
so
be...
No, today, all our medication...
Anything that's non-medicine...
Correct. No, but certain things you could do through Shchikas HaMamonim, you could do without it. There's only things that you cannot do, you never do with Shchikas HaMamonim. Someone gets a bump, you don't put some monim on it to put it down.
You put oil on a person, right?
Yeah, oil could be different. If the only way to do it is with oil, we'll see soon. That's what we'll see. That's what they speak about by Shem.
In Chav Zayin we already asked.
We'll see. We'll get to it. We'll get to oil. It's partial should be usher, and there's some person that says there's a kula that since there's no way of doing it through Shchikas HaMamonim, whenever you do it is not Shchikas HaMamonim. You put ice on something, you never put some monim on it to make it go away. Therefore, it could be its mutter.
How far? Okay, I don't know. I was asking before about, let's say, something like cough syrup.
No,
how does that ever come to Shchikas HaMamonim?
No, cough syrup is Samamonim. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it is Samamonim. Cough syrup is Samamonim. They take things and they grind it up to make medication out of it. Anything that's medication.
He's saying you would never do it. That's
something else. So that's something else. Then there's another heter. So like Seif Shulchan, I didn't see it in Zion. But the Shulchan, there's another heter that says that today there's no Shchikas HaMamonim because we don't do it anyway in our houses. We never do it. There's no gzeira, and therefore he says there's a kula for all medications. But Shlomo told me we do not use that as a heter. We don't use it as a heter. Sometimes we'll be mitzaref it if you have a different kula. We'll use that for a tziruf.
Because he said the same as sort of klishir, right?
Yeah. So Shlomo says that we don't go with heter because Shulchan he's a yochid that gives that says today there's no issue of medication b'chlal because no one does it in their homes, and therefore every medication is mutter. But we don't go with that. It did tell me was sometimes you could use it for tziruf. If you have a different kula, you could add this kula to be mekel. But to go with this heter for everything, he says we can't go with it. But he said that the other level, that's one level, even things that you are ground up, but you don't do it yourselves, says shulchan is mekel. Then there's another level, something that you never use salmon for it. For example, a bump, ice. You never use salmon for it.
Or the socket.
Or the socket will get a different problem.
Okay.
The socket second. So ice on the bump, he says the meaning is the hakol. And because since you never do it with Samamonim, therefore, even though it's a refuah, even though you're doing it as a refuah, and all refuah is aser, if it's something you never do with Shchikas HaMamonim, there's a kula. And we'll see later on this time, we'll get back to it. Therefore, you could put ice on a bump on Shabbos. But then when it comes to...
Heating as well, like it doesn't matter. Sometimes you put
a heating pad.
Yeah.
Heating pad is the same thing.
This is the kula of who?
This is a kula. We'll see soon. We'll see if there's the Yukim with the Mechaber later on, and we're going to have we'll get to it.
Okay.
But keep this kula in mind. It's very important. Heating pads, all these things are the same thing. Put hot water on, a compressor on a muscle. Muscle is not Shchikas HaMamonim, unless you're going to say if someone has a muscle, like you can take medication and it go away. So then you run into problems. Because then you could do it through someone.
So hold on a minute. So when you bump your thing, the doctor will tell you to do two things: put some ice on and take dafka, an anti-inflammatory like Advil.
Anti-inflammatory takes away the bump.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to go down that case then. I never heard of that before. You get a bump, you take a piece of ice, a bruise. You take a piece of ice, you put it on. A bruise, you put it on.
You
don't think it was
filling for the inflamed joint, or something like that, but not a bruise. Stomach bump? Not a stomach bump.
You would tell someone to use that?
An inflamed joint may be worse.
It's for pain, if they're in pain.
An inflamed joint may be worse because you take care of that through medication.
Yeah.
That could be worse.
Like a bruise, like
Yeah, someone gets a bump. A kid gets a bump, so you put ice on it. Yeah. Someone gets a bump, put ice on it right away. Everyone puts ice on it on Shabbos. So there you have the heter because no one does it with Simonim. We'll see. I forget what Seif is. We'll see later on. We'll see when we get to it exactly what level do we say that you never use Simonim. Let's say sometimes you use Simonim for it, and sometimes not. So when do you say this is something that you usually don't use Simonim for it, so we don't make the Gzeira for it? So a bump for sure is something you use ice and you never put Simonim on it. Have that heter. Now when it comes time to the elbow out of the socket, here it's worse. Because here, it's not the Issa de Rabban is not Gzeirus Refuah. It's not a Refuah. The Issa de Rabban is that you be Miyasha the Ivarim. It may be Binyan. We'll see later on. Siman Shalom and Aleph, or Shalamid, that when a kid is born, if you make the Ivarim, you master say Ivarim, it's Aser. Tchashash maybe Issa Daraisa, we'll see later on. So if that's the Isser, so you don't have the heter by elbow. An elbow is worse. An elbow is worse because an elbow has an Isser in itself, not the din of Refuah. Not just once you're getting to other Isser D'Rabbanans, you can't say, oh, if you don't use Simonim, then it's mutter. So an elbow is a different child, its own child. If it's an Isser in itself, without Refuah, to put an elbow back. If the only problem is Refuah, then you could put it back, because you never use Simonim for it. But if the Isser is another Isser besides that, then it could be problematic.
So could you call it Makabah Patish?
So we'll see later on. I have to go through the I don't want to speak about it, I have to go through the Sugya again. If Shlomo did tell me that he has to go through the Sugya again on Miyasha Evorim to see exactly what the Isser is. And maybe that's the cooler because it's not really an Isser, even an Isser D'Rabbanan to put back an elbow. That was the territory. So I said, I'm not going to come back. When are you going to go through the Sugya and I come back to you? He started laughing. And he...
that means the next day you can go.
He told me to look into Nishmas Avram. See what he says. That's what he told me. Look at Nishmas Avram, look at Ida Sefer, and see what they say. That was his answer. But he says, if there's an Issa D'Rabbanan of putting back an elbow, then it's problematic. He says the Ma'aseh, the Ma'aseh he said is they could do it. That's what he said. They do it, they could do it, and therefore we'll figure out why. He said
thank you.
that you could do it. That's what he said.
It's the most fun thing to do on Shabbos.
Right. Put it back?
Because the kid comes in screaming, crying.
And it's the most common thing.
Right,
yeah.
Most common. And you don't ever have to question any electricity, you don't have to deal with anything, you have to write prescriptions. All this stuff is Machaya.
But it's not supposed to.
Onik Shabbos.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to.
The kid leaves happy.
Yeah.
So no, if the kid's in pain, it's not happy, we'll see soon, it could be more calm. If the case we said last week was, the kid is fine, the kid is not crying, everything is fine. Not using the arm. We'll see soon, it could be the end of the Siman, the end of the Seif, we'll see about a kid. If he's in pain, that's something else. That's something else. But if the kid wasn't in pain, just can't use his arm. They come, the parents come, they want to put it back in. So Hashem, when we get to Siman Shalamid, Shalamid, when we get to, we'll see about what the din is of Miyasha Evorim. You put the Evorim back together again, when a kid is born, what the issue is, if that will apply to a dislocated elbow. No. If it doesn't apply to it, if a dislocated joint is not included in that issue b'chlal, so then the only problem is refuah. And refuah, where it's not done through Simonim, there's a kula. So we'll see when we get to Shalamid. I'll have to go through Ian again. If the dislocated joint is a problem b'chlal Issa D'Rabbanan by itself, without refuah. That's where we left off. Okay. Fine. But it's important to know these two heterim, and the one heter we won't find in Shulchan Aruch. Such a Shulchan's heter we're not going to find. It's a chiddush on his own. And today where there's no shchik samanim, everything is mutter. But we will find on certain things that there's no shchik samanim, and that thing itself, that's his chiddush.
That's his chiddush?
That's his chiddush. I didn't see it inside. That's what Shlomo told me. Okay.
So he says that it doesn't apply today.
No, but
Yeah, it's a pasuk from 50, 60 years ago. Yeah, recent pasuk.
You said you had a tshuva from Rav Moshe as well?
On ice.
On ice.
On ice.
He's
but I remember, Baruch, I didn't go back and look at it, like what was the psat of the heter? In other words, but the end of the psak was...
It could be his heter was, it's heter.
I have to go back to see it, but...
so probably, he may be Shemin in it, as a right. See what it says.
I have to go... Check it again.
There's a wedding in a second.
We're going to come back to it, yeah.
It was at least a month ago, so it's got to go through
it. Check the tshuva again and see what he says, see what his heter is. I'm assuming his heter would be because he never do it through someone. Fine. Says the Ramah. Hagar. You can tell a guy, last is tafshil a cotton, to make food for a cotton, he doesn't have what to eat. Why? The stam, tzorchei cotton, kechaylish ein by sakana domi. Stam, tzorchim of a cotton, has a din like a chaylish ein by sakana, and therefore you're allowed to tell a guy to go ahead and do it for you. Like we saw in the beginning of the Seif, everyone agrees
to do it for him.
That a guy, for the cotton.
For the cotton.
Yeah, that a guy, you can even tell him to do this in the raisa. Amir la'akim is mutter by a chaylish ein by sakana. So therefore, a cotton, when it comes to Amatas like Tafshil, he doesn't have what to eat. You're allowed to tell a guy even to make the food on Shabbos. Why? Because it is a Chodesh Emer Sakana.
Cotton is up to what age?
Oh, that's a big shadow. That's a big shadow. So to the age we'll get to in a second. What does it mean here? What's shot in this heter that a cotton is Chodesh Emer Sakana? It doesn't look like this in the Paiskim here. There's a Tila David that says that the tzorchei cotton we're talking about, tafshil, food. You're allowed to make food for a cotton. Any other issues that a cotton has is not called a chodesh emer sakana. The reason is because a cotton needs certain foods, and if he doesn't have those foods, he's not going to eat, and it's chodesh emer sakana. Some person say today that kids eat everything. So when a kid is past a year or 2 years old, and he eat anything, then already he's not considered a cotton anymore, and therefore you can't tell, he's not called chodesh emer sakana. If we're talking about food, tafshil. Today, there's never a problem, a kid doesn't have what to eat. You can always find a child something to eat, unless it's a 1 or 2 year old, only his formula, let's say, and you don't have, and you have to get, or the guy has to make it to you, whatever it is, then you have this halacha. But when it comes time to food by a cotton, when he's past that age, most of the person say today, he's not considered chodesh emer sakana when it comes time to food.
But that certainly does not with the Ramah. Ramah has a much broader statement. Right? He's not talking about he's not even talking about the food. At the end,
he says last is tafshil cotton.
That's before, but that's his example. But the stam tzorchei cotton kechodesh emer sakana.
So what does that mean?
So, does it mean only for food?
So the Matil David says it means only for food.
Oh, because I think the food is an example. But
yeah, no, Matil David says
he needs heat, he needs cold, he needs.
Right.
You know,
so
once it's a cotton.
Correct. Matil David says that it's only food, and it brings a raya.
It's in the future.
The Matil David brings a raya. We learned in Hilchos Muktzah in Siman Shin Tes Sif Aleph that if a kid, the father's holding a kid, and the kid has gaguim, you want to pick him up, and he's holding muktzah in his hand, right? If you're allowed to pick up the kid, so it depends if it's a stone or if it's money. If it's money, you're going to go pick it up, and it's muktzah. Says the Tila David. So let's say it's muktzah. Let's say it's muktzah, right? So what? You're allowed to do what?
If you can do an Issa Mizraisa.
No, you can't do the Raisa. You can tell a guy to do an Issa Deraisa, and you could do so over there, you see that you can't, for a cotton, we're not making to go ahead with Evanus Drabanan. Make even a Gzeira Otu Muktzah. You make a Gzeira that you shouldn't hold the cotton because they'll pick up the money. Says the Til David, you see from over there that you can't be over an Isser Drabanan for Ktanim only when it comes time to food. Til David. But now.
So the basic
but all the other ones disagree with him.
So the basic principle we have that you can't have a goy do something that you can't do yourself.
Right.
This is an exception.
No, yeah, chodesh emer sakana. A chodesh emer sakana. You can tell a guy, yeah. Yeah, the guy can be doing this in the rice for chodesh emer sakana. Yeah. So now look at in the Magen Avraham, Sif Khan Tes Vav. Lasa is Tavshus, says the Magen Avram. Umutter laha'achiloi muktzah biyadayim if efshar b'inyan acher. Let's say there's a guy here. There's no guy here, and you have to give the kid muktzah. What's muktzah? An apple fell off a tree on Shabbos, let's say, right? And for you it's muktzah. You're not allowed to touch it on Shabbos, but the kid needs to eat. Says the Magen Avram, you're allowed to give the kid muktzah biyadayim to give him to eat on Shabbos. And the Pri Megadim has a kasha on this. We just paskined for the Chodesh Ein B'Sakana. What are you allowed to do for Chodesh Ein B'Sakana? On Issa D'Rabbanan with a shinui. Why are you allowed to be on Talta Muktzah? You're allowed to be on Talta Muktzah and give it to a child? You're being over on Issa D'Rabbanan. Shaloi Al Yedei Shinui. We just paskined that you're only allowed to do it Al Yedei Shinui. So why does the Magen Avram say you're allowed to give the child muktzah b'yadayim? Says the Pri Megadim, it must be talking about that you're doing it al yedei shinui. That's what the Magen Avram means. You're allowed to give the kid muktzah b'yadayim al yedei shinui. Mr. Brewer brings it down. The Chief Cotton. Sifka Nun Ches, Mutter. It says, if the kid only wants to eat from his mother, Mutter la'eim la'achiloi, afilu chelboi eine Yehudi. Ubishloi, which is muktzah for Yisrael, muktzah for us, we're not allowed to eat it. After matatelas muktzah, she's allowed to do it. V'ayim Pri Megadim, the mitzadeh k'tzas, the boy is shinui. The Pri Megadim says you have to have a shinui. Why? Because we hold that we only matter by a chodesh Ein B'Sakana muktzah yedei shinui. Says the Sharet Tzion on the bottom. A very important Sharet Tzion. Sif Cotton Lamed Dalet. Well, the feed Dvarav, and according to the Pri Megadim, miyushiv v'loitikshim l'el Shin Tes Sif Aleph Ayin Sham. What does the Sharet Tzion mean? According to this, you want to have a kasha from Shin Tes. Shin Tes says we asked for a tinuk. What? It is a d'Rabbanan. We're saying over here you could do tzarchei tinuk. Over there we're talking about without a shinui. Therefore it's awesome. Over here we're talking about with a shinui. That's why it's mutter. What do you see from the Sharet Tzion? He argues on the Tila David. According to the Tila David, Shin Tes is a whole different case. Shin Tes is not oichel, it's not food. So food you can't tzarchei tinuk is not mutter. You see from the Sharet Tzion, he's medama our halacha the Shin Tes. He has to say Shin Tes is talking about without a shinui, and here we're talking about with a shinui. Why does he have to come onto that teretz? Because he holds every tzarchei tinuk is mutter on Shabbos. Not just Michael, everything is mutter. And that's where we go today. Come on, all the poskim paskin that way. The tzarchei tinuk is mutter. He has a din like a chodesh Ein B'Sakana, and everything, every Issa D'Rabbanan is mutter yedei shinui, or you can tell a guy to do for you even an Issa D'Oraisa. So now you have a shadow. What does it mean? Till now we spoke about food. We said after 2 or 3 years old the kid has food. But now that we're talking about kol tzarchei tinuk, everything. So what age is that? At what age do we say that he's still called a tinuk, like a din chodesh Ein B'Sakana, and he can do whatever the kid wants?
Could be different ages for different Isurim.
So here there's different ages. The poskim, some say 8, some say 9, some say 6, some say until he's a gadol. There's mechlekes in the poskim have a bunch of different shittas, exactly what's called tzarchei tinuk.
12 different shittas.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, maybe it's only 6. Yeah, but there's a lot of different shittas. So to give a psak is very hard, but what you have to do is use hashara. If you see it's for this kid, the kid needs it really badly, and it's sakana for the kid, then you can tell the guy to do it for the kid. Kid needs sleep at night, right? Kid without sleep, it's chodesh Ein B'Sakana. Parents.
Yeah, because you killed a kid.
So a child, a 2-year-old child, whatever, is coughing a lot, and it's,
It is not cough.
no, they're just saying as an example, they're coughing a lot, and you want to give the child cough medicine.
So that is the Chodesh Sakana. Yeah, a child. That's a perfect example. A child that's coughing, right? And you wouldn't be able to take the medication on Shabbos because you are. No, so we said. So it depends. If you're not from the Mishkav.
So you have to do with the
It depends what.
He becomes a Chodesh Ein Basakana to Mishkav, and the person would normally be a Mechush Ba'alma.
Right. So you'll be a Mechush Ba'alma. But kid will be Chodesh Ein Basakana.
Automatically in that category.
Right. A kid will become automatic Chodesh Ein Basakana. We saw that Chodesh Ein Basakana, you're allowed to do medication even without a shinui.
The Gzera falls off.
Even without a shinui.
Even without a shinui. That's the Mishnah later on.
Exactly.
So the Gzera falls off. Yeah, that's a perfect example. A kid, you have to ask a 2-year-old. According to this, it could be a 5-6-year-old also.
But there's a difference between a cotton and a tinnik. So there's a further kula for children that are under 2.
Yeah, no, it's like a cotton, it says here.
Right.
So cotton means.
But a tinnik.
Yeah,
right?
a little child, because you never know what's the matter with him.
Correct.
Yeah, a little child, you never know, everything is right away.
A fever in a child under 2.
No, that could go into the category of Yeshbisakana.
Correct.
Yeah, that could be.
Goes on.
Yeah, a kid under 2 has a fever. A kid that's 5 or 6 that can explain to you what's bothering him, so he may have a different Chodesh Ein Basakana. Even though it's enough for the Mishkav. Even though it's not enough for the Mishkav. So you're right, we have 3 levels here. We have an adult. An adult, if it's not enough for the Mishkav, you can't do anything. Unless it's a Mstat Harbe. A child, which is a child, what a child means. Anytime any Tzarech Tina, it could be Chodesh Ein Basakana. So if a kid has a cough, a kid has a headache, a kid's not feeling well a little bit, right? Not enough for the Mishkav, you're allowed to give him medication. Because it's their Chodesh Ein Basakana. A tinaik, a small child, then already is more kulas.
And there's no kula for the other side of the spectrum. Let's say somebody who's very old and very weak, very frail.
So we don't find that. Exactly, we don't find that. Because he knows.
Or maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he's
enough for the Mishkav. No, he's enough for the Mishkav, maybe. He's enough for the Mishkav. If he's not enough for the Mishkav, then he's... if you don't know what it is, then you have to go see a doctor to figure out what it is. So we don't find it by a cotton. So what the exact age of a cotton is, I'm not sure. Okay, anything you're now do through Yisrael, even through the Chayla himself, you're not allowed to do it. There's a common mistake. People think that the Chayla himself has more Teirim than someone who's helping out the Chayla, which is not true. Anything you can't do, the Chayla can't do it himself either. When the guy is doing it for him, if the guy is doing it and the Yisrael is helping him out, we had this before already in the beginning of Siman, that the Ramah holds, we see in Taz second he argues, the Ramah holds the Chaylish Misayeh, Ein by Mamish. If you look in the Magen Avraham, the Sayeh Ktsas, Hainish Abulavi Hachi Nami Misavda, without him is also done. A guy that's putting cream on an eye, that's called Ein by Mamish. The guy can't do it, built the Yisrael without the Yisrael, also you can't do it, because that's not Messiah anymore. That's called Shnaim Shasu, they're doing it together. Mash Masham Nafilu b'Melacha Deraisa Messiah Ein by Mamish. The Magen Avraham Shatase says that a Messiah Ein by Mamish even by an Issa Deraisa. If you look in the Taz, Sif Kartan of Gimel, Sayeh Ktsas, he says I'm Ashok Shavta b'Sif Gimel, Tatsiyua Tiyadavka b'Shar She'akam Oisik Ba Loi Sheyagdim Lefon of Klal. That's a Shita. He makes the chilik that if you help out the guy before he starts, that's a Sayeh Yitzray Mamish Mashim Loshan Zeh Tiyadavka LaChaylim. Fine. Period. Now it says a Mashim Loshan Zeh, very important Taz. Tiyadavka LaChaylim Hutta b'Siyu Ktsas. It says the Chayla is allowed to help out a little bit. Avaloi la'achar, not somebody else. Ve'eni yedeya ba tam l'chalik. I don't have any reason to be mechalik. Kiloi matzinu heter b'choila. We don't find the heter by the choila himself, tzvei, more than anybody else. Rak le'inyanim oimet tzarech ani, if he's the one who could decide what he needs. But once we know he needs something, we don't find the heter for the choila to do it himself more than anybody else. Even if somebody else could be Messiah. So here's the Yisrael, the Taz says that there's no heter more for the choila to do it than for you. If a choila is in a hospital and there's a heter to move the bed up and down, there's no reason why the choila should do it himself more than anybody else, if he's allowed to do it. Fine. Sif Yud Ches. Hekes Dam. Someone took out bloodletting when it's tanen, and he got cold because of it. Even if it's the middle of summer, and I make him a medura because it's a chodesh yesh besakana. Says the Magen Avraham.
Is that automatic to make his dam, or he has to have symptoms like like his make his dam obviously?
I make his dam is automatic by an instana. It's a siman. It was a siman that he's in sakana. Sivkan Yudzayin Hekes Dam Avalashar Choli Loi Fishem by sakana. Other cholim, even if it's tanen, it's not a raya that he is a chodesh yesh besakana. Even though you have a way out still he becomes a chodesh yesh besakana and he needs the heat. Therefore you're allowed to do it. So here's the big difference. So the question is, what does it mean over here? This Magen Avraham. He's saying here, we had before, right, from the Magen Mishnah and Sif Dalet, we had that we could do Kol Tzorchei Chodesh Yesh B'Sakana, Masher Regilim Lasas, what you usually do. Now we saw that Masher Regilim Lasas, the Magen Mishnah is mashma, even though that particular thing the Chodesh does not need, he's not a Sakana for that particular thing, still it's mutter. And we saw the Magen Avraham and the Paiskim argue and they hold, no. Only if that thing itself he needs to make him feel better. He's a chodesh yesh besakana, and that thing he needs to make him feel better. He needs his bed to be straight in order to rest. Now, a chodesh yesh besakana, rest is a sakana. He needs rest. So then you're allowed to do an issa deraisa even. But if you know for sure this exact thing the chodesh does not need, there's no have to do even issa deraisa. There's no have to. Here, the Magen Avraham is saying that by Hekes Dam, if he gets cold, he has to be warmed up. If he's not warmed up, he's a sakana. But there's another way of doing it. I could do it through begadim. I could put begadim on him, blankets on him, or I can make a fire for him. Here the Magen Avraham is mashma that once it's a chodesh yesh besakana and I'm allowed to make him warm, I don't have to go ahead and just get blankets for him. I'm allowed to make him warm through a fire. He needs this thing, I can make it warm through a fire.
Even when I have an alternative.
Even when you have an alternative. You don't have to go ahead and be mechama begodim. You can make him madura and keep him warm. That's what's mashma from this Magen Avraham.
It's very hard to... Well, no. That goes with the Magen Mishnah.
No, there's a big difference because
why?
Here we're saying
this goes back to the old Tchuyur and Witra, and
right.
You hold like the Magen Mishnah, then it's the same Magen Mishnah that we saw in Halacha.
No. So the Magen Mishnah, saying the Magen Mishnah's case is that this that the chayli you want to do for the chayli, he doesn't really need. That is not necessary for the chayli.
Right.
Let's say the chayli wouldn't have to get warmed up, but usually you do it for him. His asakana that has to get warmed up. The Magen Mishnah says hutra, everything is mutter. And once everything is mutter chodesh yesh besakana, you can do whatever you want, even if he doesn't need it. That's the Magen Mishnah. Now we argue on. And then we say, no, the chayla has to need it. Now we're talking about the chayla does need it. We know the chayla needs it and needs a sakana for this thing. For that already, even if we say the chuya, we say it's techuya, but it's techuya for that thing, for making him warm. So I don't have to go ahead and decide how I'm going to make him warm.
That's a big chiddush, right? I mean,
Why?
because when something is dechuya, always the whole idea that how we work on Shabbos is you minimize the amount of.
So that's what we spoke out.
You have a choice between 1 and 2.
Right. So we spoke out.
You're going to do what you have to do, but
Right.
Right. Why would you warm him up?
We spoke out in Seif Beis. He needs things. We have to go find the guy or not.
Right.
Right. Now, what do you mean? If you could do a guy, do it through a guy.
There we said because of the Taz, that's
So-
different. So we said there's a difference between Dalet, about Dalet and this one.
Right. And your base.
And Yud Beis, right?
Right.
So in Yud Beis said no, the reason there is because of the Taz.
Okay. One
Right.
reason. One reason.
That was the reason.
One reason. Yeah.
By Beis we said, right,
Yeah,
Dalet
yeah.
we said, but that we don't hold like the Maggid Mishnah.
Right.
Now you see that the Magen Avram,
No,
you
because
can't give the heter of the
Okay.
Taz.
Okay. So even in the chuya, you know the head of the taz because the guy may be misfashal. Still, it could be here. Once you're allowed to do something for him, that'll be mechal shabbos for this thing, then it could be you can do anything you want. The Maggid Mishnah is a level higher. The Maggid Mishnah is a level that even when he doesn't need, you could do for him.
Right.
Here we're saying he needs it. The question is how you do it for him. And the how you do it for him.
You need to give the person an injection on Shabbos, and you give them alcohol. It happens all the time.
Right.
You minimize the cutting of the alcohol swab, right? It's contained in that little package, right?
Right, but we have
Or
to.
not. He needs a heter, right? So we always said you minimize.
Okay, so that's the question. How you learn the Magen Avram here.
So with this Magen Avram now, I would be able to say, oh, look, he needs it. It's not like I'm turning on the radio for him.
So the first how you learn the Magen Avram over here. That's the first how you learn the Magen Avram here. He says over here, "L'shar chalil loyal fi she'ein bei sakana, hamesh bei sakana shari." Now, after gav she'ein b'tzin sakana, she'efshel chama v'gadol. V'ayim achik sat Seif Dalet. Is that coming to argue what he just said? You just coming to argue. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, he's bringing down the same Maggid Mishnah here, right? I mean, it seems to be saying it's the same halacha. What I told you back there, it's the same Maggid Mishnah.
Okay, so that's a shayla here. You can learn Magen Avram both ways. You can learn Magen Avram both ways.
There's a huge difference how we come
Big
out.
difference. There's a big difference, yes.
Now, do I still have to go
Correct.
being careful with the letters, or
Correct.
do I now just,
Once it's mutter, it's mutter.
Right.
That's a big, that's, yeah, because even if you're going to learn, you're saying even if you learn the chuya, right? Even if you learn the chuya, then I don't have to be...
You don't have to be so careful.
Yeah. It's a new way of learning the chuya.
Yeah, I'm asking.
I like it, by the way. Life's a lot easier.
Look at the Mishnah over here. You can't make a graph on the Mishnah. It's not right. The Mishnah is going to, if you do it through a guy, do it through a guy. That's what we had already in Seif Beis. That's what we had in Seif Beis. We do it through a guy, do it through a guy.
Correct.
Okay, I'm not sure. I know it's two on the Magen Avram.
Can I come with you to Jerusalem now?
Yes, no problem. I'm not sure I learned the Magen Avram. I remember when we learned the Magen Avram, we had two stuff how to learn the Magen Avram. And one side was that
this was really the biggest
yeah,
thing.
the biggest thing.
Change how
Correct.
we understand
Once the chayli needs it, we're saying from this Magen Avram, once the chayli needs it, how you're doing it doesn't make a difference.
Again, Lania's the way we were taught for, I mean...
Not that way.
Not that way.
Okay.
Right?
I'm not going to argue then.
No, I mean, I'd love to know that this for all 30 years. Thank you very much. I've been doing it all...
let me check into it.
We always learned that the chuya is the chuya. In other words, you stop to minimize what's going to be. Now again, we're not talking about a chayil l'sheish b'sakana that it's every second counts.
No.
He needs an injection.
We're talking about you could go ahead and you could warm him with begodim instead of making a fire. Yeah, that's the case.
From a practical thing is you're going to take the alcohol swab out, you're going to give them a thing. How many do you minimize or do you not?
And
correct.
if you're, the classic case of you're going on Shabbos with work to the hospitals. I mean, again, the same thing. How much do you have to minimize if this Correct.
For this Magen Avram is much enough to minimize. Once it's mutter, you don't have to minimize.
But this might be the same Magen Avraham as in Daled.
No, when we're on Daled, the argument in the Magen Mishnah, there is talking about even things that the Chal does not need. Alpha Pisha Ein by Sakana, he says.
Right, because there he's learning it's completely Putra.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to tell you that it's mutter.
Okay.
I know stories on the Magen Avraham. How the person pass it, I have to check into it again.
Okay. So you come back with us in 2 weeks with this.
Good to try. Leave that there. Okay, Seif Yotes. Chodesh Yom Sakana, mutter b'bishul akum. A Chodesh Yom Sakana is allowed to eat bishul akum on Shabbos and during the week. Right? It's mutter b'bishul akum. Why? Because it's only Nisa D'Rabbanan. Bishul akum is a Nisa D'Rabbanan, and it's allowed to eat a Nisa D'Rabbanan, even though we said before that only Nisa D'Rabbanan they shinu is mutter. And here matter even without shin, it's a regular straight out Issa D'Rabbanan. So we matter it because Bishul Akum is a shvacha Issa D'Rabbanan.
So you can't say every Issa D'Rabbanan.
You can't say every Issa D'Rabbanan, correct? Only Bishul Akum.
That would include Ofen Challah.
If you look in the Mishnah Berurah Sivkan Samach Gimel, Mutter b'Bishulei Eni Yehudi, v'af agav the shar is Surei D'Rabbanan also l'chayla. Other Surah the Baruch not matter for a chayla, right? Sivkotin Samach Gimel. V'after have the Shar is Surah the Baruch also the chayla. Shein by Sakana. Lechel v'lishves kedisa b'yadei Siman Kufnan Hey. Shani Bishol and Yehudi she'ein is Surah Machmas Atzmoi. It's not a Isur Machmas Atzmoi intrinsic in the thing.
It's only as chasnas? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. It's not Isur in itself.
Sure, it's not a shtickle nevela.
And he says that Gam HaChoyla Mevorech Olav, the Rhetorical Achol, they even make a bracha on it. Even though we know you don't make a bracha on something you're not allowed to eat. Let's say a Beirach Ne'etz Hashem, you're not allowed to make a bracha on something you're not allowed to eat. But here, you're allowed to make a bracha. Because here is mutter to eat it. Okay, the rest of the Mishnah we'll see in a second. So look in the Taz over here. The Taz says, Mutter b'bishulei akum, a chayla is allowed to eat bishul akum, v'im nishar the Motzei Shabbos, if it's left over the Motzei Shabbos. So now, by Yisrael could cook food for the chayla, so it doesn't need the food of the goy. Aser lebari, a bari is not allowed to eat it. V'afilu l'didei, even for the chayla himself, im hivri, it's aser. Even for the chayla himself, it was made for him. If he doesn't need it anymore, he's not allowed to eat it. Only b'shas, when he needs it, he's allowed to eat it. Once he doesn't need it anymore, it's also for him to eat, and it's also for a bari to eat. But it's
mashma that on Shabbos the bari could eat it?
No, that's the opposite. On Shabbos, for sure bari can eat it. Because we had in Shemeshun Yudches, Shem Yarba B'Shviloi. You know, the bari is not allowed to eat anything done for a chayla, because the skid will maybe matter before. Here it's saying, even Motzei Shabbos, it's also. Now if you look back in Semicha Yudches, by that halacha, it's in Siv Beis. It says, "Ashrechet b'Shabbos l'chola ben shechola me'etzel ben shechola hayom mutar habori lachol imenu et shchita." Because there's no shach sham yaber b'shvilei. Aval mavashel l'chola also l'bari or l'chola she'em b'sakana v'chshir sham yaber b'shvilei. Haga hafilu b'shvilei de akum also b'Shabbos. Even if it's cooked through a goy, also b'Shabbos. So also b'Shabbos
For the bari.
For the bari, b'Shabbos it says. Why? Shem Yaber b'Shviloi. Here, the Gra is medayik, dafka on Shabbos. For Motzei Shabbos, it's mutter. If you look in the Gra over here, b'Shabbos, the Ramaskal b'Shabbos, Lafuke Motzei Shabbos. Besides Motzei Shabbos, he's allowed to eat it Motzei Shabbos. Ve'ein b'y mishum b'shuli nachrim, kivin le'shchichi Ein boy mishum chasnus. Since it's not shchiach, that a guy should cook for you on Shabbos, so we're not worried about chasnus. The whole issue of bishul akum is chasnus. The man that marrying them, something that's loy shchiach, we didn't make an issa at chasnus. So this is called a dover the loy shchiach. So now, this is a big machlokes, Taz and Magen Avraham. And in Yeridea. Taz says over here, I am Asher Gesafti, right? In Yeridea, Siman Kufchav Gimel B'Seifa. At the end of Siman Kufchav Gimel, is this halacha? A guy, it's not Bishul Akum, a guy cooked for a chayla, says the Ramah, it's mutter lebari the matzah Shabbos. A bari is allowed to eat at the matzah Shabbos. Why? Because there's no Bishul Akum here. Says the Taz, he argues. Taz argues. So machlokes the Ra'ah and the Rashba. So machlokes in the Rishonim already. The Ra'ah holds it's mutter because it was done beheter. The guy was allowed to cook for you. And the Rashba holds no, it's aser. There's still an issue of Bishul Akum. The chayil is allowed to eat it. But once the chayil doesn't eat it, or for a bari, it's aser. Here, the Mishnah Berurah says, the Mishnah Berurah saw before, U'masha nishal l'matzah Shabbos, aser afilu l'chayil la'atzmai, kivin she'efshel l'vashaloi odai yedei Yisrael. It's aser. It's aser even for the chayil himself. Mishnah Berurah says that over here.
Because he can cook now beheter after Shabbos.
Right, after Shabbos, you can cook it now, have to cook food.
And Hefsef Nurah wouldn't come in here?
No, we're not about
He has to throw out the food.
not about to have some but I'm about to is. Now, if you look back at Shin Yud Ches, over there, the Mishnah Berurah brings the Magen Avraham, and he says it's mutter l'matzah Shabbos. Shin Yud Ches, right on the Seif Cotton, Seif Cotton Yud Aleph. Mishnah Berurah Seif Cotton Yud Aleph also b'Shabbos, aber b'matzah Shabbos mutter miyad. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Yudal, you're right. Also the Shabbos, the bari lehenes amenu. Aber b'matzah Shabbos mutter miyad. The time where kivin de'enu de bishul beheter, they boyu lehamter b'chtei shiyasu, v'gam le'gadu b'mishum mishul eni Yehudi. So the Mishnah Berurah is a steer. Here he says that if a guy cooked it on Shabbos for a chayla, it's mutter. The matzah Shabbos even for a bari. And over here he says it's also even for the guy. Even for the chayla. It's a steer in the Mishnah Berurah. So the chayla will ask a steer in the Mishnah Berurah here. One place the passage is like the Magen Avraham, and one place the passage like the Taz. Some chayla want to say the chiluk is between, over here we're talking about a chayla sheyesh by sakana. A chayla sheyesh by sakana is taka lo shchiach, and we didn't make a gzeira. And over here by us, we're talking about a chayla she'ein by sakana. A chayla she'ein by sakana is much more shchiach than a chayla sheyesh by sakana. Some chayla want to say they're in tarets. But the Maisa, it's a steer in the Mishnah Berurah. Here he says it's aser. There he says it's mutter. Now,
you saw an answer that in Shin Yud Ches, he's only explaining the Ramah, and in Shin Chav Ches, he's actually giving you his own psak. Shvisa Shabbos writes it.
Mishnah Berurah is not a mefarish. He's a person.
I mean, it's how he's miyasher.
Trying to reconcile the...
He's miyasher. It says there he's just being mefarish the Ramah. Here he's telling you his
halacha. Okay. If you look in the Mishnah Berurah Vaita over here by us, he says in the first word line, "Va'kelim shel b'shuva en Yehudi tzrichem hechsher." A guy cooks in your house, bishul akum, tzrichem hechsher. Now, what this means is the food is aser. Bishul akum is aser. Bishul akum is aser, so now the pot has belias of davar aser in it. So it comes out, according to this, have to be very careful. That
doesn't make sense. The food is 100% kosher. It's just bishul akum. Where's the blias coming from?
No, bishul akum. You're not allowed to eat bishul akum. We used also to eat it.
But
it's also to eat it.
Als bishul akum, als chasnus.
That's what he meant before. That's not machmas.
Where's
not Isra machmas atzmai.
Where's blias coming from?
Right, but now that food is also. That food is also for you to eat. For you, it's like treif.
Okay.
For you, it's like treif.
But it's not an Isser Machmas Atzmai.
It's not the atzmai, but that food is also to eat now.
It's like food that you made a neder against or something like that. Like I'm not,
Yeah, but Belize doesn't.
Yeah, so, yeah.
That had meat cooked.
Correct.
Correct. Yes, of meat.
So you're not allowed to eat it.
Meat, yeah.
Yeah, if you make a neder, if
takes a neder on meat, right? And someone else cooks inside there.
Right.
We have that shaila in your day, right?
Yeah, and what happened?
I think that the pot was also to have.
What did he say?
Now here it says the pot is also. It's a very important halacha. It says the pot is also.
This halacha.
Yeah, I don't know if you could find it. I'd love to see it. I'll try to find it.
Yeah, something like a case of a neder. Someone had this.
We had the shaila. I thought we had the shaila. In Shin Yud Ches. In the beginning of Shin Yud Ches, if I remember correctly, in the beginning of Shin Yud Ches, someone cooks on Shabbos. It's a deraisa. He cooks on Shabbos. He's not allowed to eat that food. The food is awesome. For him, it's also l'olam, right? What's halacha with the pot? Is the pot also? Does the pot need hechsher or not? Same idea.
Right. So okay, maybe that's where we had it. Maybe we had the sheet. That's not you.
There's a kiva ega on that.
Okay. Right. And this is also whether it's lacherim and of his family, right?
Yeah. There's a kiva ega over there. I have to find it. I don't know where it is now. That the pot may be also. The pot may need hechsher. Here it's a bigger chiddush because the food is mutter to everybody else to eat. Only for you it's also. So to say the pot becomes also. Where is that? I have to find it also. The shad of the pot is. I can't find it now. I thought it would keep egg over there. I can't find it. Okay. So here he says a chiddush. The Mishnah Berurah is a chiddush over here. V'akelim shel bushel akum shichem hechsher. V'afilu klicheres. Given the ikar is surah any element of the rabbanon. Da'im agiloi. But klicheres, even though usually you can't kasher klicheres, since there's only issa the rabbanon, here will let you kasher klicheres. ובדיעבד הבישל בו בלוי הגלה ויש רוי בתבשל מותר ויש מהכילים דאין צריכים הכשר כלל. Some people say you don't need הכשר כלל והסמך עליהם לעניין כלים שבישלו בהם לחיילה בשבס לא הפסיד. So Mr. Bruce says over here that some people hold no, bishul akum, the kelim aren't asur because bishul akum, the food is asur.
Right.
But let's say a guy cooks in his own pot, kosher food, his own pot. It's bishul akum, so it's his pot. That pot's also for you. Anytime the guy cooks in a pot, it's also.
But if it's your pot, it's also.
But if it's your pot, we're saying it's also. Why? Because for you it's also.
Because the bliss in it.
Because there's bliss in it. But if a guy cooks his own food in his pot, so how do you look at that?
It's a brand new pot. There was
brand new pot, no bliss of it. The guy goes ahead and he cooks potatoes. Let's say potatoes are oil shulchan malach. You now not eat those potatoes because the guy cooked it. So now that pot is also for you, al bishul akum, or only your own pot. It's also to you al bishul akum because.
How did they remain?
Yeah, because they're examined.
Was it a knas? Was it something that?
No, it's chasnas. That's chasnas. They stay away from him. But that's my food.
There's no chasnas on your pot, right?
No,
on your pot.
The cooking.
No, the cooking, the food is also.
Is going on the
cooking, on food, right? But the pot,
the guy cooks.
Why would the
There's a whole shot.
The pot comes after, right? You cook the food, fine. Now it seems like the pot is a knas. It's just like a.
So I don't know. I'm not sure.
The whole chasnas is a knas.
That's on the food. You finish the food. So now what's with the thing?
Right. So
the nanny comes home and makes.
The
shiloh is the nanny. This is a big shiloh. It's a very big shiloh. A nanny goes to your house and cooks her own food for herself in your pot. No plans are giving it to you. She goes. She uses your pot to cook her own food.
kosher food.
Kosher food. She's cooking her own food in your pots. Is the pot also bishul akum?
Yes. I'll bring you rye.
Yeah.
Rav Moshe has a tshuva and says that if you have a nanny and you go away on vacation,
Yeah, possible b'chol if you worry about.
no.
Is it bishlakum?
I have to check. but his talkie, Rav Shiner gave us a shiur once, says that when you go on vacation, you have a nanny in your house, your kalim
That's
are
vacation. That's vacation. If you go away every day and there's no mirsis.
I don't know if every day, but he gave the example. You go away on vacation and you leave the nanny at home.
He was being easy on you. He was being easy on you. That's why. But if a guy goes out a whole day, if a guy goes out every day to work and the nanny's home alone,
it was in the context of not a basar b'cholav shiur. It was in the context of bishul akum shiur.
Yeah. So according to this,
so that's a raya that even if you're not even there.
Right. So here, according to this Mishnah Berurah over here, the kalim that the guy cooks in is also bishul akum. So besides you can't eat the food, the pot becomes also. So if a nanny cooks in your house, your pots, the pot should be also. Bishul akum, the pot should be also. So all the Mishnah Berurah says over here is that in our case, with some people cooking for a chayla, so you can be mitzvah, even though we're not matter you to eat the food when the chayla becomes better, and we're not matter bari to eat the food, but we could use those people who are matter it to make on the kalim, and the kalim don't need action. So if a guy cooks food for a chayla in your house on Shabbos, you don't have to be maksher the kalim. The kalim are okay. But if a guy cooks tamazah in a regular day, cooks in the house,
because it was beheter. No, that
because it was beheter.
Always beheter.
Because it was beheter. But the one who asked it, the ones who asked it says no, it was done by Isser, but for chayla you can eat it. What's the chiluk if a bar is allowed to eat it or not?
The bracha.
No. Why?
That it's beheter.
No, everyone holds you can make a bracha.
So then it's beheter.
No, but even those who hold they make a bracha, doesn't mean it's beheter. It means a chayla is allowed to eat it. A chayla is allowed to eat it. For him, he didn't ask of it. But still, Isser, that's why a bari can't eat it. If you hold that a bari can't eat it, why can't a bari eat it? Because it's Isser. For a chayla, we'll make it. If you hold the bari could eat it,
so just understand,
look at it as heter.
If a person eats, for whatever reason, a muktzah apple, would he make a bracha on that?
Probably not.
Really?
Yeah. It's b'tzei berach, Hashem. Someone steals something, wants to make a bracha, and he's not allowed to. If you go and you
I understand on something that's treif that we did.
No, if you steal something, the more b'tzei berach is stealing. If you go and you steal an apple from somebody, you're not allowed to make a bracha on it.
So part of the sugya, I mean, lulav agozol.
Lulav agozol, yeah. Mitzvah b'avera. Here's the b'tzei berach. Here's that mitzvah b'avera. Here's the shash, I make a bracha on it. So
he can maybe this apple for 3 days on the floor. How do you know?
No, if you know, so you know it came with
I think on a muktzah apple you would not make a bracha.
Yeah, b'tzei berach. Answer was different than gezel. If you steal an apple, the Gemara says b'tzei berach neitz Hashem.
Okay, so from this Mishnah Berurah, you're saying that
he's learning. He's saying you can be mekel when it cooks on Shabbos. That's not called Issa. You can use the cooler for kalim, only for kalim, but not for eating it yourself. But not on Shabbos. The Chayim Mishnah Berurah is paskening that the kalim are tzrichim hechsher. 1 second. Yeah.
It's just Hagala, they don't need to be...
Hagala. Hagala is enough, yeah, Hagala will be enough. Fine, 1 second.
In other words, you don't have to do libun?
Yeah, it says Hagala.
Hagala will be enough. It says even for klicheres, Hagala will be enough. So you don't even leave it either. Yeah, that's what will come out. It's a chumrah. I mean, it's not chumrah. I think we're passing this way.
But he says the Eish Mekil Dein Tzrich and Hafshir Klal.
Yeah, we don't hold that way.
So we do have to have.
We hold you have to have a gala, right? He says if we Semicha on those makilim, they don't have extra klal in a case where it was cooked on Shabbos for a chayla. You would start both coolers to be makel over here. Fine. Where do we get up to here? Right? Okay, next Sunday I'm not going to be here. We'll continue in 2 weeks.